My name is Chantel, I'm with MAC Cosmetics, and we are going to do a really pretty 60s girly look on Leah here. So 60s really is one of those open eras. I'm gonna go a bit more that Pan Am, I would say airline attendant, but in those days stewardess was the appropriate term, so we're gonna call this more stewardess makeup. Whether you're doing a 60s twiggy look or something like what we're about to do, 60s really is all about foundation. Women wore foundation in this era. So I'm starting with MAC Studio Sculpt Foundation. I'm using a color that's a little bit lighter than Leah's skin. I think the 60s has a very particular texture to the skin. It's more of a creamy matte. So now that I've applied that pale foundation through the center of the skin, I'm coming in with a color that matches Leah's skin tone around the edges, just to create this really nice, even foundation look. Just a warning, watch this area right here. Nothing kills it more than when somebody walks past you and there's pale skin here, or your blush doesn't quite sweep through into the hairline, and you have this nice triangle here that just looks a little bit silly. And because this is a pretty girly look, I'm gonna start with blush first. For this, I'm starting with powder blush, and I'm working in between a bright baby pink and a bright peach. Also, I think it's important to make sure that you're keeping that blush about the width of 2 fingers away from the smile lines. I think one thing that we did see in the 60s very much so was that technology in makeup wasn't quite really very refined yet. So concealer tended to be a full coverage concealer. Eyeshadow was pretty matte and had quite a bit of coverage to it. So this is one of those times where you can take a concealer and be really aggressive with the amount of coverage that you use. All right, so now that we have concealer applied, we're gonna use an eyeshadow called Vapor. It's not quite matte, it's not quite satin. It's just a little bit too white to be natural. And I'm also really pushing it into the inner corner as well to create a little bit of a highlight. This is gonna be the completed eyeshadow for our 60s look. But what would the 60s be without a little bit of eyeliner? Eyeliner tended to be a bit thicker if you're talking about fashion. If you're talking about a stewardess, airline attendant, for example, the liner would traditionally have stayed a bit more close to the 50s. And when it comes to doing eyeliner, choose the brush that's the width of the liner that you want. I think it's also a good idea to break your eyeliner down into smaller, more manageable pieces. So to start, I'm just doing a simple, short, straight line in the center of each eye. And I'm laying the brush down at its widest point so that the width of the brush is what's creating the line for me. Also, eyeliner will tend to want to skip a little bit, and that top edge can sometimes look a little bit raggedy. So it's great to have a clean angle brush on hand. That clean angle brush, you can simply just run over the edge of the liner and it'll push everything together. Now from here, I usually will do on myself that inner corner of the eyeliner with my eyes open to really connect to that inner portion of the liner. Now all we have left to do is the tough bit, which tends to be that little corner on the outer edge of the eye. So first, let's just simply do a nice straight line that tapers into the outer corner of the eye. If you feel at this point that you're not up to doing a little cattail, you can skip it. If you do want to take it a little bit further, what you're gonna do is just take your brush, the corner of the eye, and sketch a really thin little baby line. And now all I have to do is just draw a thin little triangle back into that eyeliner that I already have there, and I just have to color it in. All right, from here we're gonna do a lash, but it's gonna be a bit more of a pretty girly lash, nothing too serious. Lashes tended to be a little bit more thick and dense. I'm using the MAC number 3 lashes. The number 1 lashes are another choice that I like as well. A lash that has a longer tail to it tends to be the wrong type of lash for this era. The 60s almost always had a lash that was heavier or thicker in the center. I'm gonna apply a little bit of the duo adhesive to the end of an orange wood stick. It helps ensure that you really apply the right amount. Now Leah has a really nice lash base, so I'm able to just basically set this false lash right on top of her own natural lashes. And I'm using the orange wood stick to really help press the lash into the lash line, especially in her inner corner since it's a little bit more deep set. Ideally, what you're looking for too with the 60s makeup, you're seeing the band of the lash end and you're still seeing a little bit of that liner continue out. Now you could also fill the brow a bit for a 60s look, but I think in Leah's case, her brow is a really nice strong shape. This is actually an ideal shape. We are almost there. The under eye area waterline as well was just this really pretty beige. So in order to accomplish that, I'm gonna bring in a nude eye pencil. Okay, so for this look in particular, we are avoiding doing mascara on the bottom. And what makes this different from a 50s look is that pink. There was that candied pink and just a little bit of a white pink. So for that, I'm gonna use a pale pink lip pencil. This one is called In Sync. I'm not really gonna worry about lining the shape. I'm just kind of coloring in the lip with this pencil. And now we're gonna go with a white beige and a pink called Saint Germain. Now what can be really ideal is if you use a retractable lip brush. You can actually put that custom blended color all over the tip and then you can just turn the brush inside, throw it in your bag, and now you've got your touch-up stick for the rest of the night. Now I'm patting this in rather than painting it on. Voila!